in such a way as to satisfy the concerns in Congress that it has been running a paramilitary operation out of the basement of the White House in defiance of the State Department and the Congress?
The State Department, or the Secretary of State, was involved. The director of the CIA was involved in what we were doing. And as I said before, there are certain laws in which, for certain actions, I would not have been able to keep them as secret as they were. But these people you've mentioned have been involved, do know what was going on. And I don't see that the action that you've suggested is called for, but what you've disappointed me the most in is suggesting that I sound defensive up here. I've just been trying to answer all your questions as well as I can, and I don't feel that I have anything to defend about at all. With the circumstances the way they were, the decision I made, I still believe was the correct decision, and I believe that we achieved some portion of our goals.
Mr. President, do you believe that any of the additional hostages will be released?
I have to believe that.
And during any of these discussions with your administration, was there ever any hint or suggestion that these weapons might be used to topple the Ayatollah?
No, and I don't see in any way how that could be with the particular things that we were using. I don't see where the Ayatollah could be a logical target for an anti-aircraft missile, or even for a tow missile, for that matter.
Mr. President, you made an exception to the arms embargo when you thought it was in the U.S. interest to do so. Why shouldn't other nations ship weapons to Iran when they think it's in their interest?
Well, I would like to see the indication as to how it could be in their interest. I know that there are other nations that feel as we do, that the Western world should be trying to find an avenue to get Iran back where it once was, and that is in the family of democratic nations and the family of nations that want peace in the Middle East and so forth. So,
how, Mr. President, if I may follow up, how does shipping weapons to Iran help bring them back into the community of nations? You've acknowledged that you were dealing with only a small portion of the government.
I was talking of strengthening a particular group who needed the prestige that could give them, who needed that bargaining power themselves within their own ranks. Jerry?
Mr. President, I believe you may have been slightly in error in describing a tow as a shoulder-mounted weapon. It's a ground-to-ground weapon. Red Eye is the shoulder weapon, but that's beside the point. Tows are used to destroy tanks.
Yes, I know, Jerry. I know it's an anti-tank weapon.
From your shoulder.
Well, now, if I have been misinformed, then I will yield on that. But it was my understanding that is a man-carried weapon, and we have a number of other shoulder-borne weapons.
I did have a question, though.
You mean that wasn't a question?
No, sir. I thought I knew what a tow was. I just wanted to ask you, what would be wrong at this stage of the game, since everything seems to have gone wrong and could possibly go wrong, like the Murphy Law, the Reagan Law, the O'Leary Law this week? What would be wrong with saying that a mistake was made on a very high-risk gamble, and that so that you can get on with the next 2 years?
Because I don't think a mistake was made. It was a high-risk gamble, and it was a gamble that, as I've said, I believe the circumstances warranted. And I don't see that it has been a fiasco or a great failure of any kind. We still have those contacts. We still have made some ground. We got our hostages back, 3 of them. And so I think that what we did was right, and we're going to continue on this path. But
please respond to this question, would you please? Sir,
Helen,
this
would
is
you
a
yield to
question.
this?
This is a question that will not wait. It's cold weather out there, and the growing number of hungry and cold people who are homeless in all of our cities. And these volunteers that you urge to take part in this and try to help have now made their surveys across the nation. They've come back and said, we can't feed the hungry and can't take care of the homeless by ourselves. We've got to have federal help. You have no policy in the White House, I believe, to do this, and you're now just leaving this to local government and local groups. They can't take care of it. Won't you please give us a federally coordinated program with long-time planning?
I think that in things of that kind, we are still spending more than has ever been spent before trying to help the needy. I will be very pleased to look into that particular facet and see if there is some snafu there, but I don't think so. But I do think that, that many of these programs are being undertaken at a state and at a local level and with the aid of federal financing, but I'll look into it.
They're doing a great job, sir, but they simply say themselves, the churches, the nonprofits, we can't do it sufficiently. The number is growing so rapidly.
No,
We've got to have federal help.
Well, as I'm saying, I'm going to find out because I think and believe that there is such help. I just read this morning in the paper about a needy family in New York that is being put up in a hotel, and the cost to welfare just for the rent of the hotel room is $37,000 a year. And I wonder why somebody doesn't build them a house for $37,000. No.
You're going to miss Tip O'Neill. You're going to miss Tip O'Neill.
Will you come back soon?